Hi, frequencies, everyone. Um, I had I had a few dreams last night. Quite a few. And the first part, because I went to sleep and I woke up, of course, and I went back to sleep. The first one, I'm still sitting with that. Um, but I was told the throat chakra was blocked, so I'm gonna go back to that dream and kind of evaluate it on my own. But the last dream I just had is I went to sleep. I woke up around about 5 a.m., did some work around the house, and I went back to sleep around close to 7. And I just woke up an hour later. So that dream that I just had within an hour time frame was very powerful. Um, so in this dream, I was given a house that was passed down through the family, huge house. And I was living there, and I stayed on the top floor. But it was like people in the neighborhood were trying to get me out of this house, or something was going on where they're trying to get me out of this house. Well, I went to sleep in the dream, and when I woke up in the dream, my windows was on this side of my bed. When I woke up, I had one window on one side, one window on the other side. When I woke up, somebody had put an imprint of a Voodoo VeVe. If you are familiar with the VeVes, let me show you one here. This is Mama Brigitte. And I'm not a voodoo practitioner, a voodoo or a high priestess or that, but I am familiar with the practice. I am familiar with the practice of voodoo. So when I saw those two VeVes on the window, I initially was like, okay, somebody's trying to do something to me. And my mind initially was like, no, I'm going to tell you. Initially, my thought in the dream, after I woke up from another dream within this dream, was that this was a sign. Like, this was a sign. I didn't think that anybody did it. I thought it was a higher, something from up high, a higher consciousness or something from the celestial realm had came and imprinted on my windows. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. So then I FaceTime my ex that died in 2015. He always comes through on the phone. So I FaceTime him to show him that. And he was like, okay. He wasn't worried about it. He didn't see a big deal. And I started to feel like somebody was after me. Somebody was doing something to me. It was an attack. And I'm going to tell you, I'm sat with it for a little bit, and it came to me. I sat with it in another dream. Crazy. And so I was like, okay, I can't do this. Like, he don't get it. He don't understand how I'm feeling right now. Like, this is crazy. Somebody's trying to attack me. So I'm looking out. I'm looking on the ledge of the window. I'm like, how did they get up here to even do this? Like, who would do this? Like, this is just mean. This is just crazy. Like, they trying to get me. It's okay. So I go downstairs. I'm looking for my daddy to tell him. And then I run into my sister. And then I tell my sister, I was like, I'm getting out of this house. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And she was like, you can't do what? I said, somebody put some VeVes on the window. And they trying to attack me. Some voodoo on the window. And she was like, oh, okay. They weren't shooting in there, were they? I was like, no. She was like, well, me and the girls, her granddaughters, coming over tonight coming to watch movies and order a pizza. I was like, y'all gonna stay? She was like, yeah. So, oh, excuse me. So I was like, So I called another friend. Now, this other friend I called, he is living in this reality. And I called him. And I was like, somebody put some VeVes on my window, and I don't know what it is. And he was like, what? He was like, let me call. So you coming down here, because he don't live here. He's like, you coming You coming down here. I'm gonna get you in my house. You're not gonna be staying in there with that, like that. And I was like, okay, which was weird. So then I go deeper into another dream. And this other dream I go deeper into, and I'm not gonna share all parts of it, but I'm gonna share the part that was very highlighted, vivid to me. It started with my mother being in the dream. So for some reason, through the dream state, I had sat with the VeVe and understood why it came to me. And I was like, instead of me being afraid of it, I still have programming there. There's still some, and we all do. We have this programming that runs from childhood or whatever of us being afraid of what we don't know. And so it's not that the VeVes were evil. It's not that the VeVes were bad. It's not anything about the VeVes that I saw in the window. It's the fact that I don't know. And what has been taught to me is that voodoo is bad. Voodoo is evil. We've been taught these things about voodoo. And I got to dispel that whole programming in my mind about that. And go in and learn more about what it means. And even being able to go back and see if I can draw out the VeVe that was given to me. It wasn't Mama Brigitte, but this is the closest one that looks like. It was more of a heart. It was more like the Erzuli. That's coming to me. But it wasn't just a heart in the middle, but it did have a heart, but it had all the lines and everything similar to Mama Brigitte. But it had, just like Mama Brigitte does have the heart, but it was a bigger one, similar to this one, Erzuli Freda, I believe. So, and I hope I'm saying it right, VeVe VeVe. I want to say VeVe, so I'm sticking with it. So anyway, I see my mom, she's on the side of my bed, and I'm telling her about the voodoo symbols that I saw. And she was like, I was like, no. And this is the deep part. I was like, no, it's not that it's bad. It's just the fact that, we just don't know what it means. And we have to look into what it actually means. And they came to me for me to understand that and to research and figure out what they mean, because they mean something. And it's not bad or evil or anything like that. Now, I'm going to pause right there. I got more part of this dream, but I'm pausing right there. I didn't get to share this dream, but I'm going to share parts of another dream that happened months ago. But I am 42% Nigerian. And when my mom transitioned, I was able to, she's been in my dreams, but recently, earlier this year, I was able to cross her over to the other side because she didn't even know she was in between realms. But I was able to cross her over. As we crossed over, we were singing Ife, different songs in Yoruba that I don't know. I don't know this language at all. Okay, I don't know it. But the words that were given to me in the dream, I've come to find out from a Babalao and from other priestess in Ifa of what was going on. And so I was like, wow, interesting. Didn't know. That just came to me. And I guess, of course, it's in the bloodline. It's in your blood. Well, your bloodline comes through no matter who you are or what you practice. You could be a Christian and it's still going to come out. That's just who you are. And so fast forward into this dream, because our ancestors are us. They're nothing outside of us. My mother coming to me was just a part of me. She was part of my mindset of the programming, because she was heavily into the programming as in a physical vessel of a projection of my subconscious being, of who I am, parts of me, right? So she is my bloodline. So as I'm going through and I'm learning, I'm healing myself, I'm also going through and I'm healing that part of me, and I'm healing that which is in my bloodline as well. I'm doing a whole work for the bloodline. And the fact that she was there as my mother, and me telling her, informing her about that, was very powerful for me, and for my ancestors, which are me. All right. So we got to kind of think about it. It all is me. Nothing is outside of me, but they all are projections that have been into this reality, who have ascended on, who still learn and receive information as we cultivate. And so moving forward from that, because that was a very powerful part of the dream. We was at this stable in this barn or somewhere. And I had already received a vision of the men who were in the stable and barn were racist, and they didn't want, like black people, they didn't want us there. But I didn't say anything. Now they were picking up some lumber or some wood or something and taking it out the back. Now me and my family, we were walking through. It was almost like we weren't supposed to be there, but we were there. It was crazy. And then we walk out the front door with them. And we get out the front door, and I'm staying away from the man that I saw in my vision, within the dream, of him being racist. And I'm just like, I don't want to be close to him. But then I see the lambs. And they were a beautiful beige. They weren't white. They were like a beige color. And they were all around me. They were all around me. There was a lot of them all around me. And then one of them, the white man was walking another lamb back inside, I guess to, put him back in the farm. I don't know. But the bigger one that was walking back inside, he turned back around and he stared and he looked at me. And then he walked back in. When he turned around and stared and looked at me, I remembered that from a dream. Not a dream in this reality, but a dream within the dream realm. And so I was telling my family, I said, did you see the lamb turn back around and look at me? Like I had a dream that a lamb turned back around and looked at me. Like I got to find it. I told them in the dream, I'm telling them it's on my YouTube channel. I got to show you why. I got to pull it up. The dream that I had of the lamb turning back around and looking at me, it's on the YouTube channel. So I do believe in that part of the dream, that was a parallel reality. So we walk to the car. As we go to the car, I see 3 ladies. And I know these 3 ladies. And one of them used to be one of my clients. And she has on a Whole Foods smock. And I see another lady I know, she's like, she was a nurse or a doctor in the dream. And then the other lady, I can't remember who she was or what she looked like, or I couldn't even feel the energy of her profession, but she was with them. So it's 3 ladies. So Trinity, okay? It's really mother, maiden, and crone. I always look at 3, very significant. And the one in the middle had an umbrella. The one in the front had on the smock, and the one on the end was with them. And they was like, hey, and they saw me, and we did our little dance. And was like, girl, what you got going on? Like, what's up? We was just happy to see each other. And she's like, you know what we do? We always happy and having a good time. Like, it's always going to be a good time. And I was like, oh, okay, it's always a good time. So they went walking along. And then I turn around to go with my family, get in the car, and then I wake up. So the different parts of any parts of the dreams that I had, not over the night, but these were dreams that I actually had this morning, recently, about an hour ago. I didn't even go into the dreams I had last night at all with y'all. That's another animal within itself. But like I said, these VeVes, this one, it looks like it was like a big old heart, and it's the Mama Brigitte. these were on my windows, and I really think it's significant for me to go deeper, understand the studies, not to be afraid of it, not to run from it, not to be like, oh, it's voodoo. So whatever I see sometimes like that, that I may be pushed off or afraid of, it letting me know that I need to go deeper into studying and understanding. We are only afraid of what we don't know. We are only fearful of things we can't control, we don't understand. So if we have an understanding of it, we can release all fear. And it was just letting me know that I need to release fear from the practice of people who practice voodoo and learn more things about it. And I just recently bought this book about 2-3 weeks ago. Is Orisha Goddesses and Voodoo Queens by Lilith Dorothy. And she goes through not just the voodoo queens, but everybody. She read. She has a thing on Oshun, Oya, Yimiya. I've been on that. And then she goes into the voodoo queens and everything. It's really good. It's a really good read. And she also talks about their rituals, their feasts, what foods you need to prepare, ingredients for, in order to working with that and doing a ritual with them, with any one of these Risha goddesses or voodoo queens at your altar. So it's a really good book. So yeah, it's just telling me to go deeper into working with the VeVes in voodoo, which is a part of my bloodline. It's a part of, my makeup in 3D reality. It's a part of my ancestral birthright. And teaching my mother and teaching my ancestors, which is also teaching myself. So that part, not to be afraid of, and then the symbolism of them on my window, that they did come down for a higher purpose. Nobody's trying to attack me. And the lambs. Now, that part I don't get. I am going to look up the significance of lambs, and they were so woolly and beautiful. Their face, they were all around me. I wasn't afraid of them, and they just was gathering around me. And then the big one goes up front and turns back around and looks at me. So that means something there, and I'm going to go back and do my due diligence of knowing more about that animal, the significance of that animal. I do know, it's represented in the Bible. We do know the fact that, we hear the Lamb of God, the sacrificial lamb, and all of that. So I'm going to go deeper into it so I can get a better understanding of what that lamb significance is for me and possibly to the collective. There are some sacrificial lambs out here. It's going to be some people who are good at heart, but moving forward, they're not gonna make the right decisions for their physical being and their soul, so they can ascend and move forward. And they're making a sacrifice of just being led astray, and not being able to be saved. And not saved in the sense from a biblical perspective, but not saving themselves, not having the knowledge base in order to save themselves from anything that's going on here. And so, there will be some sacrificial lambs. There will be some sacrificial lambs. There will be some lambs. There will be some people who we know that are beautiful spirits and innocent. You look them in the eyes and you just instantly love them, and you wish you could protect them, but you can't, because we're all here to make our own decisions, and we have choice, and the free will is given. So one part of the dream was about not being in fear of the unknown and things you don't understand. And the second part of the dream was, being able to have free will, and you don't have to be a lamb and you don't have to be led astray. So I'm not going to, if you listen thus far, you can pretty much decode what I'm telling you. Okay. I'm not going to put it into terms of anything, but look at what's going on right now. Look at everything that's going on in our world, and you put the pieces of my dream together for you of what it means, and you decipher it for yourself, no matter when you see this. All right. Higher frequencies, everyone. Have a beautiful day.